And what can you tell us about the project you've been working with Stefan Meyer from Colombia, which kind of is related to this? Although you were the employer in this case, and it was actually a real task for a real job, right?
Yes. So with Stefan, we decided to go deeper because we also thought, well, also other study than mine confirmed in the laboratory this positive relationship between being able to do a meaningful work through generating charity and effort. But we thought, well, let's go deep, because is it really so simple that now companies can just start donating and then everybody works more and it's all so easy? So we thought, well, we have to add additional things to the setup. First, we want a real employer and real workers. I mean, by real, I mean outside of the laboratory. They do not know that this is an experiment. And also a real effort task, which is a particular task that the employer was giving. And we wanted to compare it also to how, for example, monetary incentive would do. So let me tell you maybe more briefly what was the setup. We collaborated with an Italian company which sells pharmaceutical products, and the company was needed to update the English version of their website. And so we thought, well, we could match with them, and maybe, we could employ workers to create slogans for the company's product. And so we went on MTurk, which is a platform on Amazon where companies and researchers and whoever need a short task, that you can hire an employee for from 15 minutes to an hour. And so we went on Amazon. I mean, the company went on Amazon. They did not know that it was an experiment to recruit these workers. And we varied the type of incentive that we offer some of these workers to create slogan for the firm company. For the company's product.
English, yes.
And bottom line, let's say we had 4 main treatments. So one was a bonus, financial bonus, and which could be either conditional on performance or unconditional on performance. So the bonus that was conditional performance was like, okay, if you work more than the minimum task, if you create more slogans, we're gonna if you create 3 more slogans, we're gonna give you some financial bonus, some more, which was not somehow unexpected, which was not part of the initial contract. Mm-hmm. The unconditional bonus was, we're going to give you this, basically we announced that we would give this bonus independently of whether workers would work more or less. And we did the same with the charity, so with the more charitable treatment. So there again, we had 2 treatments. In one case, we said to them, look, if you work more than the minimum level, we are going to make a donation to a charity. Doctor Without Borders, by the way, was the charity. And in the other treatment, we said, we are going to make the donation regardless about how much you worked. So why we chose these 2, these 4, let's say, treatments? First, we wanted to compare how charitable incentives, charitable initiatives, so CSR, let's say, perform in motivating workers compared to a financial bonus. And the second variation, whether it was conditional or unconditional, was to mimic whether it would play a role, whether the employees would somehow perceive that the bonus or the donation was mainly only done to extract effort from them. Because if I tell an employee, look, I'm going to pay you more only if you work this more, or I'm going to donate only if you achieve this goal, it's clear that I'm not really want to benefit society through this donation, but I just want you to work more. So we call this like the strategic CSR and the strategic bonus. Whereas the unconditional setting, where the bonus or the donation was made unconditionally on the employee's performance, well, you could say maybe the company is really generally interested in helping society and is not so much about performance. And we wanted to see, does it play a role? The results were very nice, and we did find that the financial bonus worked very differently from the CSR. Now, making a financial bonus conditional, like performance-based, was increasing performance a lot compared to a financial bonus that was given regardless of employees' effort. The opposite was true for the charitable donation. So if you make a charitable donation conditional on the employee's performance, actually people worked less. And this was, so the effect was not very strong, was on average negative, but not very strong. And then we found out that it is very strong when you also focus on certain type of employees that are those who do not care in general about society. So they react very negatively. And the channel that through subsequent survey that we conducted basically suggests that the reason is that people really perceive the employer's intention of using strategic CSR, but also strategic bonus, really not kind. It's unkind that you're trying to extract effort from me. However, if it's a bonus that I can keep, on the one hand, I weight this unkindness. On the other hand, I want to make money, so I'm going to work a lot. If it's about the charity, you know what? I'm not going to work for the charity then that much. And so at the end, the effect is negative. And finally, we also compared this to a situation where there was no bonus or nothing. So just a baseline where the people just were paid for the task that was announced. And even there, the charitable donations do actually worse, both if they are conditional or unconditional, suggesting that, you know, even the unconditional one could sometimes be perceived as unkind, because people, you know, they could think several things, like, why do you give the money to me? Why did you decide to give it to charity? So somehow the bottom line of the paper is, so CSR is a great thing and can do something really good for society. And also we believe that it can motivate workers, especially those who are attracted to a social cause, but it's not such an easy solution that you can apply strategically just to increase your profit. It's more like a byproduct, like you can gain some motivation and extra effort, but it's more like a byproduct of your genuine interest in doing something good. If you do it hypocritically, so to say, or strategically, it can actually backfire.
And in fact, we see in the reality of different companies and their CSR activities that some, somewhat look more credible than others. Yeah. Some look quite, strategic, or, strategic is the good word. I mean, hypocritical is the bad. Yeah. Pretty much is the same. So it's interesting to sort of try and delve into what might explain it and how establishing a credibility is important. And sometimes I suppose it might be that a company is actually genuinely interested in a cause, but is not even able to convey this message, and it might come across as kind of fake, kind of purely strategic and profit oriented. In a sense, it's always the case. I mean, if we believe that companies try to maximize their profits, but I think it's interesting that there is a fine line there. So this is quite interesting. Do you plan to do more in this area?
Yes. So first, let me add something to what you said. Is like, in fact, there are some studies who show that some companies hide their CSR activities to their employees to prevent to be perceived as strategic. So it's as you said, sometimes maybe the company is really genuinely interested, but for some reasons they are not credible. Also, we have to think, the company has a history. In the meantime, the CEO has changed, so yeah. So it's the point that we have to take is delicate, and it's not so easy. Now let's all invest in CSR, like some business guru have suggested that CSR is now the big
and also this multiple audience is interesting here, because you might let's say disappoint or demotivate workers, but you might please the consumers, your clients, your customers. So is there any research or any idea of some work trying to see what matters what to whom, essentially? Yes. And what could be sort of some trade-off or tension there?
That's a good point. So there is also research working on customers, and they do find that also customer cares about whether the company is genuine or not in the reason in their initiative. Cool. So I think it's a broad perspective, but I think that for the employee, the question is also more delicate, because the relationship between the customer and the company, I mean, depending on what type of product we're talking about, but often is just very short. Okay, I buy this product, and that's it. Whereas the employee works there. So imagine a company who invests a lot in CSR in the form of a charitable donation or environment, but perhaps doesn't treat its employee in a fair way. Then, how can I really believe that you care about society and environment when you treat me, your employee, really badly? So the discussion gets much more complicated for the employee, and is most difficult, I think, to create a credible relationship there.
There's been a lot of backlash for some of the tech companies like Silicon Valley and stuff. I mean, one version of their motto at some point has always been, let's make the world a better place, and then there are these stories of mistreating of employees, not to mention sexual harassment and discrimination, the whole set, and that destroys the credibility of the message also to the customers, definitely.
Yes.